Hey everybody, this is Dave here at Pulp Alley, and this is going to be a really fun video. So, a few days ago, one of the folks over on the Pulp Alley Players group on Facebook was talking about an old classic scene from a movie and saying, hey, how about, playing out one of those and, explaining how it relates to Pulp Alley. So that's what we're going to kind of do. And not only that, but I wrote up a quick little scenario. So I'm going to post that scenario for y'all if you'd like to play through it as well. Now, obviously, when you create a scenario, you want it to have, more options than to just slavishly follow a pre-written script. So not everything is going to happen exactly the way that it happened in the movie, and that's okay. But the scenario actually does present the opportunity for it to play out the way it did in the movie. Hey, before we get too much further, I want to remind you guys that the secret word for this week is June. And if you're still watching this, before our live video on Thursday, then you have the opportunity to go in there and click that link below that is going to take you over if you're not familiar with what to do with the secret word. You don't want to miss your opportunity. Go over and click that link, go to that video, enter the comment with the secret word to make sure that you get a chance to get something cool. All right, so I got a little bit of touch-up to do on the scenario. It's not quite ready. Maybe it'll be ready by the time this actually posts or by the time you see it. But anyway, we'll try to include that scenario over on the Pulp Alley Players group as well. Before we get too much further, will you take a moment right now while we're talking about it and make sure you get subscribed to our little channel. Make sure you hit the like button and the bell so you get a notification when we upload a new video. So maybe you'll know what this movie is as we go through it. Maybe you're familiar with the scene. I don't know, but we're going to try this out and see how it goes. So here is the video. So here's the character that we're going to be using today, Lucky Dundee. Here's his stats. You can see his abilities there. We're going to be talking a little bit more about the character as we go through. Now, he is up against a group of ruffians led by Ramjit Singh. You'll notice they don't have a leader over there. And then they also have Okie Joe, and they have Lou, and they also include 24. That's an interesting, basically because I wanted to have a burst in there. So those are the ruffians that he's up against. Now, this is going to start in a shop in Casablanca. It could be a shop in Casablanca. It could be a warehouse in New Orleans. It could be a bar in the mountains of Nepal. Who knows? It could be wherever you want it to be. So some ruffians come in here. It's after closing time. Good evening, madam. And she shouts back, we're closed. And we're not here to do any shopping. Oh, what do you want? It's the story that unfolds there. So as we get into this, you're going to see how this story goes. So one of the first things we do at the start of the scenario is roll for random events. So that's what we're going to do first. Dundee rolls a 1. That means he's going to be delayed. It's even going to delay him 1 turn longer. And then Ramjit's side rolls an 8. An 8 for this scenario is reinforcement, so they're going to get a level 1 backup character show up at the start of turn number 4. Let's see, and then we're going to roll for initiative. Who's the starting director? Dundee will be starting off as the director. There you see the little marker to help us keep track of that. We're starting turn number 1 here, and this is the Bar Room Blitz. Got a trip up, a distraction, and something else. I didn't see what it was. And Ramjit gets a steady aim, an out of ammo, and a sucker punch. Very cool. Cool cards. That out of ammo isn't going to help him much, but I think he has some discard abilities. So as we start turn number 1 here, Ramjit heads over, so they're basically approaching Elaine here. Very menacing here, and she blows a puff of smoke in his face. He gives a little cough. At the end of the turn, Lady Elaine is going to move 7 inches in a random direction. She takes off in this direction. She goes back behind the counter there, and she's like, well, maybe I have some free samples for your guys. So now we're going to be starting turn number 2. Dundee is still the director. He added a bad feeling to his hand, and Ramjeet adds a stay down. So at the start of turn number 2, Dundee still isn't on the table yet. And Lady Elaine is clear over there. A new plot point appears each turn, 1 inch from the center of the table in a random direction. So it's basically right there at the fire pit. So the only thing is for the baddies to activate. So 24 heads over to kind of block off Elaine. Lou heads over there. Lou heads over there too, but Ramjeet says, oh, it looks like your fire is dying down a little. And he heads over to the fire, starts poking at it with the poker. He's going to try to do this plot point here. The first thing is apparel, 1 with finesse or cunning, easy peasy. He's got 3 die 8 in cunning, so he's got the cunning to handle that. He only needs 1 success. And, whoa, that was a little closer. But he got the 1 success that he needed. Now, the plot point itself, he's poking the fire, getting the poker really hot. And now he needs to roll 1 success with might. He's got 3 die 8 in that as well. So he's going to have a good chance. Man, he is barely passing those. And he gets it. And now he gets a random reward card as well. He completed the plot point. Now, what he's looking for here is the experience card. So one of those rewards has the experience on it, right? So if he draws that, then that means he has found the relic that they have come looking for. It also means that he's now the director because he completed that reward. And then, of course, at the end of that turn, Elaine moves. She moves 4 inches off this way, so she's kind of heading back towards the center, off towards the center of the shop here. So she heads over here. Maybe she's being coerced. Maybe she's being dragged back out by those ruffians. That could be happening too. So that ends turn number 2. So as we start turn number 3 here, several things are happening. One is that Lucky Dundee finally enters play. Now, that doesn't mean that the baddies have noticed him. That could be part of the story, right? So he could be, maybe slinking in there. 24 activates and is going over possibly to block the advance of Dundee, make sure that they have her cornered. Lou activates. Now, none of these guys are particularly good at plot points, so they're really there to add a little bit of muscle. And then the last character to activate, Dundee goes ahead and forces Ramjeet to activate as well. So as soon as Ramjeet activates, Dundee plays a distraction on him. So he heads over there. So now he's a little distracted. She's nervous. He's carrying that red hot poker with him. And it's a big peril. Oh my gosh, boys and girls. He's going to have to, Dundee says, let her go. And here's he's going to have to roll 3 successes with shoot, finesse, or cunning. Plus he has a distraction on him. He cannot do it. He's got 3 dice in cunning, but because of the distraction, that takes him down to only being able to roll 2 dice, so he's not going to be able to pass that peril. A quick look at his cards that he has in his hand. He doesn't have anything that's going to help him, such as an uncanny or a focus or something like that. So it's automatic failure as far as the peril is concerned, and that means he takes 3 hits. 3 hits. So he's going to have to roll a 3 dice health check. He's got a starting health of D8s, and he failed that as well. So he is injured. Now, you have to decide here, right? I'm going to pause it for a moment. You have to think about what was the peril there. Was the peril actually associated with Elaine? Was that her kicking him or kneeing him or, pushing him away? Or was that Dundee lassoing that hot poker out of Ramjeet's hand and yanking it away from him, making it fly out of his hand, something like that. So when you think about what is a peril, and those are all things that are part of the story of the scenario, right? You, as the player, get to tell the story that you want to tell. So the perils are not defined. You don't have to do this is the peril. It's for you to decide what it was. So we could say that Dundee lassoed, that red hot poker, pulled his arm back, with a yank, something like that. Maybe a whip or something. Whatever you guys want to do. So we'll continue this now. So he failed the peril, and that automatically ends his activation, so he doesn't get to attempt the plot point. Now, the last thing that happens, as far as all the baddies have activated, so now Dundee is going to activate. He takes off, jumps behind a desk over here, piece of furniture, and he opens up fire, shooting at, looks like it's going to be 24 there. So he rolls 4 die 10, and he got 3 successes. And she's going to use her steady aim and shoot back. It's going to give her up to 4 dice. And she got 2 5s. Now, Dundee has to decide, what do you do here? Do you block, or do you just take them all? He's going to say, I'm going to block one and let the other one through. That means 24 is going to roll a 2 dice health check. Dundee is going to roll a 1 dice. And Dundee fails, but he's in cover. Remember, he jumped behind the furniture. Cover save, and he passes the cover save. Now, for 24, needs to pass with both of these dice, failed with both. That means 24 is down. Now, this is actually the end of the turn, so she's going to get a recovery check. Not only that, but Dundee, because he clearly won that fight, he is now the director. So here's the recovery check. 24. Oh, that was for Ramjeet. He's indomitable. He's re-rolling, and he passed because he is indomitable. He got to re-roll his failure. So now we'll roll for 24 and see if she gets, and she's back up. So she gets back up to her feet. So both of the injured characters recovered. Elaine moves at the end of the turn, taking off a big 8-inch move. No surprise there. And she's going to move. Now, one of the rules for this scenario was that Lady Elaine, once fighting starts in the shop, then she has a perilous area all the way around her, a 3-inch diameter perilous area around her. And that ends turn number 3, so we're starting turn number 4. We're going to draw cards at the start of the turn. Drew a stumble, and Ramjeet drew a trip up. Trip up's not going to be a lot of good against Dundee. If you know what his abilities are, you know what he has something. New plot point appears on the table, 3 inches off that away, and that's going to be over here by this other table. Now, those are points of interest. They could be anything. They could be the relic. They could be something that gives a clue to a relic. Another thing that happens this turn is the backup shows up. So Chen comes through that door. It looks like he's coming up behind Dundee. He's only a level 1, but he could cause a little bit of problem. He's a fairly decent brawler, so we'll just have to see how that goes. First thing that happens here is 24 takes off around a little bit of a pillar here, and she's going to drop a burst on Dundee. She's going to spray a burst ability, so that's an action. Now, the advantage to doing that is that Dundee doesn't get to shoot back. It's basically just spraying over there and forcing him to try and avoid the spray. Dundee definitely has the skills to handle that. So the challenge is, unless you get a 2 or a 3, it's really, pretty easy peasy there, and he gets past that challenge as well. 2s and 3s would be kind of bad, but, he's been lucky so far. Now, Oki activates, and he moves over, and he's taking aim at Lucky Dundee. He's getting 3 dice, and Lucky is firing back. He's going to get 4 dice. And here we go. Oki's rolling. He's got a couple of 5s, and now Lucky returns fire. Remember, this is a shootout, so it's not just one person shooting. It's both characters involved in a shootout. gets 4. Now, Okie Joe is the active character here. He has to decide if he's going to block. He does. He cancels one of those. He still has 1 hit left to deliver a hit to Dundee. That means Okie's going to have to roll a 3-dice health check. Can he do it? Come on, Okie. Okie passes a 3-dice health check. Lucky Dundee has to roll as well, and he passes his. So lots of bullets flying back and forth inside the market. So far, not a lot of damage. Lou activates, and hey, might be standing a little too close to the fire there. He gets a random peril. Here's the peril. He's got to roll 2 successes with finesse or cunning. Let's see. Can he do it? He doesn't have enough skill dice in either of those. He also doesn't have the dodge to do it. He's going straight to a health check. He fails his health check as well, and Lou goes down. So that's what you get, an unseen peril. What was it? Was it something coming out of the fire? Did he catch fire? Was he too close to the fire? Was a log, rolled out of there? So Ramjeet activates next. Dundee plays a trip up on him. And that's going to stop him from going after Elaine, but there's still a plot point just a few inches away. So he sees something over there by that table and goes over there to check it out. He's got to roll 2 successes with finesse or cunning, because I think the fire's starting to spread over that way too. 2 successes with finesse or cunning. Well, he's got the cunning to do that. 3. Oh my gosh. Only 1 success. That means he's going to take 2 hits. He's going to have to roll a 2-dice health check. Let's see if he can do it. No. And Ramjeet is injured. Ramjeet takes an injury there. And so now it's Chin, the new character that just came in. He activates and moves up on Lucky Dundee. He's only rolling 2 dice 6. Dundee would normally get 4 dice, but he's already been in a fight, so he's only going to get to roll 3 dice. So here is Chin. Let's see what Chin can do. Oh, he's got a sucker punch coming too. That'll get him an extra dice. Now he's going to have 3 dice 6 coming at Lucky Dundee. And a 4 and a 5. Okay, well, that's pretty good. He got a couple of hits in, or a couple successes. Dundee only gets a 7. Now, it's a take-them-all situation, right? Because Chin cannot block that. Neither of his dice are high enough to block the 7, even if he wanted to. So this becomes take them all. Chin's going to have to roll a 1-dice health check, and Lucky Dundee rolls a 2 dice. And all of them are a success. And nobody gets hurt. They're over there wrestling around, knocking over the furniture and stuff like that. Maybe rolling around on the floor. Who knows? Just good-natured, roughhousing. Dundee now activates, and he's tied up with Chin now. That's not a good situation for him to be in. He's going to have to brawl. He's now down to just rolling 2 dice. Chin is down to rolling 1 dice. So let's see what they can do here. Dundee has 2 die 10. Chin has 1 die 6. And Chin gets a 6. Dundee gets a 4. And now it's the same thing, right? Because the 4 is not big enough to block the 6. Dundee couldn't block even if he wanted to. It becomes a take-them-all situation. Both are rolling for a health check. Dundee passes, and Chin does not. Chin is out. He's level 1. That means if he fails a health check, he is removed from play. Now we go to the recovery checks. I think we're going to roll for Ramjeet here first. He failed. He's got the reroll, and he fails again. Oh, man. He is having some bad luck. So he remains injured, and now we still have Lou that's down, and Lou fails as well. Lou is now removed from play. All right. So we've got a couple of the baddies knocked out. Ramjeet's injured. Whoo! Okay, at the end of the turn, Elena's going to move. She's moving 5 inches. It looks like she's getting into the fight. Looks like she wants to come out here and see what's going on. So she's not lurking in the corner anymore. She's out here. Now remember, now that the fighting has started, there's a perilous area, 3-inch diameter, around Elaine. Starting turn number 5. Got a bad news for Dundee, and Ramjeet draws an out of ammo. That's his second out of ammo. Not very helpful against Lucky Dundee. So now we add another plot point to the table. It'll appear 1d8 inches from the center of the table in a random direction, 8 inches over that away. Looks like it's kind of behind Lucky Dundee a little bit over there. So back there. All right, here we go, boys and girls. 24 activates first. She's going to throw another burst at Lucky here. Yep, there it is. So she gets a random peril. Got to get a good peril. Can't keep drawing ones. So she drew another 1 challenge, and he can handle those all day long. 2 die 8 in cunning, and he passes that. So now Ramjeet is going to activate, and he's going to try and pick this item up. He's injured now. It says 2 successes with cunning or might, so he's going to use his might. Remember, he is injured. He would normally roll 3 die 8, right? Because of the injury, that would drop it. No, he has muscles of steel, so he still gets to roll his d8s, even though he's injured. And he still fails. Wow. He still fails. He gets 1 success. That means he's going to have to roll a 2 dice health check as well, and he fails that as well. And that, oh, he screams in pain. Ah! As something over there. I think the fire is spreading that way, right? Now Okie Joe activates, and he's going to fire at Lucky Dundee. But wait. He's activating in a perilous area. Remember, there's a 3-inch diameter perilous area around Lady Elaine. So he's going to have to face a random peril. He draws his random peril, finesse or cunning with 2 dice. He doesn't have the finesse or cunning for that, but he does have dodge. He does have 2 dice in dodge, so he can roll. He could dodge this, so maybe he notices Lady Elaine, or he hears her, off to the side there. He's got to get 2 successes, and he gets none. He gets no successes, and that means he's going to take 2 hits, and of course, he goes down. Okie Joe is now down as well. Wow. Brutal. Now, Dundee is activating here on turn 5. As he enters that perilous area, he's going to have to roll for a peril there. And then it does count as the peril for the play. Oh, it's a big one. 3 successes with brawl, cunning, or might. Okay, so here he's going to go with his brawl, right? Yeah. 4 die 10 and brawl. So that's what he's going to be using here is his 4 die 10. That's still going to be tough. He's going to have to roll 3 successes on 4 die 10. He still has a good chance at that. He's got a good chance at that. He's got to roll 3 successes on 4 die 10, and he gets it. 8, 6, 10. Yes, that was it. So he gets past the plot point. Maybe she didn't recognize him for a moment. Maybe she swung around with, and then for the plot point, he draws a free pass. Then she recognizes him and smiles, and maybe they're not enemies after all. She smiles, and he draws the experience card. He draws the experience card, and that is the relic. For this scenario, it's a special rule. If you draw the experience card, then that is the relic. So that's it. Lady Elaine no longer wanders. She's with Lucky Dundee now. We go to the recovery checks. He failed. Ramjeet failed. He gets a reroll. No, of course not. Okay, so Ramjeet runs screaming out of the market. Remember that. Just because you go out of action doesn't mean you're just laying there. Doesn't mean you've passed away. Doesn't mean you're waiting to be KO'd or beat up. It could easily mean that he has run away. So also Okie Joe failed his recovery check. And this is looking well and truly over. So that ends turn number 5 as we start turn number 6. The baddies only have 1 character left in play. Number 24 is still in play. So that card's not going to help her. There's really not a lot that a single ally is going to be able to do at this point. with one turn left, yeah, she heads towards the door. Remember, there actually is a rule for retreating in the game. If you want to remove a character just simply from the table, you can do that. But make sure you read that rule. It's not always to your benefit. Well, you're something, he says. So they get out of there. That's the end of this scenario. Very, very cool. What a fun game that was. What a fun one. Now, I have a little bit more work to do on the scenario, and then I'll get it posted up to the Pulp Alley Players group over there on Facebook for anybody that wants to try this one out. You know, like I said, it's not going to play, it's highly unlikely that it's going to play exactly like the scene from the movie does, but you're gonna see the story unfold as you go through there, and certainly has the possibility of playing out exactly like the movie did. Especially when you think about, what does it mean when a peril, is drawn, and how does that relate to the scenario, or how does that relate to the story? Remember, secret word is June this week. Please take a moment, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that bell, and we will see you tonight live 8 p.m. Central Time with Bessie. See you then. Bye, everybody.